Welcome to Baby Weights and Friends version franglais with my buddy Bruns over here, whose face we cannot show because of the line of work he's in. Very mysterious. How you doing, Bruns?
Pas si mystérieux que ça, mais regarde. Comment vas-tu, bébé poids?
How's Baby Pois
Baby weight?
is doing good. I'm not gonna explain the origin of baby weights because that's gonna be the mystery, but there's nothing to do with babies. This isn't QAnon.
Okay.
So on this episode, we're gonna talk a little bit about what it's like to work at night.
Oh.
What it's like to be a doorman, a bouncer, and break all the stigmas that everybody has about doormen.
Première chose que je peux dire, c'est que quand on sort dans un bar, c'est pas pour lire un livre. Hein?
Bruns, how long were you doing it before you got a real job?
Ah.
According to people, being a doorman is not a real job.
Ouais, 15 ans. J'ai fait ça 15 ans.
15 years, man.
Ouais, à peu près.
You've seen some shit in 15 years.
Ah, beaucoup. Beaucoup compris de choses. Justement que les gens ne sortent pas dans les bars pour lire des livres.
He's stuck on his book shit, huh?
Ben oui, mais tu sais, quand les gens sortent dans un bar, normalement c'est pour prendre un coup, célébrer entre amis. C'est bien rare qu'on trouve le stéréotype des gens qui vont prendre 2-3 verres puis aller se coucher à 10h. Ben non. Ben non, parce qu'après 10h, c'est là que les zombies sortent. Ils sortent
weird,
des
hein?
égouts.
You people change after midnight. That's all I have to say.
Oh, ouais.
So, Bruns, we started working in Montreal, Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Canada. We're sticking with the Canadian stuff for now.
Ben oui.
What made you get into being a bouncer? Un portier?
Oh. Ben,
Do you remember that far back or you're too
Oui,
old?
oui. Non, je m'en souviens. C'est une drôle d'histoire. En gros, je suis parti très jeune de chez mes parents. Je suis parti dès que j'ai eu 18 ans, je suis quitté chez mes parents. Et rapidement, il fallait que je me trouve une job. Puis la première job qui est venue à moi, c'était un bar qui était pas loin d'où ce que je restais. J'ai commencé les 6 premiers mois comme boss boy. Quand le head bouncer me regardait, il m'a dit « Hey Bruno, you're in shape, hein? We have a problem tonight. Can you sub one of the guys? He's sick. » Fait que c'est à partir de ce moment-là que j'ai commencé comme portier remplaçant pour dépanner. Peu de temps après, je voulais continuer comme portier. Je voulais plus être boss boy. Fait que je me suis trouvé une autre place où ce qui cherchait des portiers. Puis c'est de même que ça a commencé.
Do you remember the name of the bar you started in? I know it.
Ah oui, t'as travaillé là aussi, mais je veux pas name drop. Je veux pas faire de name drop.
Well, let's just to give you guys an idea, Montreal is broken up in a lot of different places. So we have ghettos, we have upper class neighborhoods, just
Ouais.
like every city.
Ouais.
So me and Bruno had the luck of starting our doorman career in not one of the best neighborhoods in the city.
Non, effectivement.
Let's just say every nation of the world descends upon Côte des Neiges. We'll name the area, but we won't name the bar. So in this place, you get every culture possible mixing in one location, which, depending on their differences of that weekend or new situation, is what doormen have to deal with after the alcohol has taken effect.
Ouais.
So you started at what, 17, Bruno?
Non, je suis 18, si je me trompe pas. 18-19.
18. I started when I was 22. No, 21.
Ouais. Tu peux pas, comme je dis toujours, j'ai commencé trop jeune. Tu peux pas faire cette job-là trop jeune. Faut déjà que tu aies une certaine maturité parce que sinon ça risque de te distordre la réalité des choses. Tant qu'à moi.
But you're out of all the guys I worked with, you're more, I would say, a politician doorman. You're not one to jump to conclusions. You're not one to I think I've seen you fight. I've worked with Bruns for a number of 6-7 years. I think I've seen him actually hit somebody once.
Ouais. C'est arrivé. Non, c'est arrivé souvent où j'ai pas eu le choix de me défendre physiquement. Mais j'ai vite compris c'était quoi d'être un bon portier. Puis c'est ça qui a fait que j'ai duré aussi longtemps. Puis c'est ça qui a fait que il y a des gens qui voulaient que j'aille travailler pour eux parce qu'ils savaient de la façon dont je travaillais. Puis j'ai rapidement appris c'était comment qu'il fallait agir parce que sinon, probablement que j'aurais été à l'hôpital plusieurs fois si j'avais pas su agir. Mais tu sais, c'est con, là. Le film Roadhouse, là.
I haven't seen it.
Tu dois voir ça.
It's
Patrick Swayze le dit. Gotta be nice until you need not to be nice.
I think we made a good team. Reason being, I was the one that would lose my cool too fast, but in the right moments.
Ouais.
And then you were always the diplomat of the situation. So let's just say Bruno's Canada and I'm the United States of America. when Canada can't figure out the diplomacy way of doing things, then the US would launch the missiles. I think that's the way it would happen.
Ouais.
We had a good vibe. We're not to say that we worked specifically to start fights or anything of that purpose.
No.
We had some great nights working.
Ouais.
You know,
Des bons clients. On a eu plus de. Je pense qu'on a eu plus de belles soirées que de mauvaises, mais Chris, quand c'était des mauvaises.
it gets scary.
Oh man. Fuck.
So in the old days, Bruno was a big boy. You were powerlifting at the time, no?
Ouais, 260.
260 pounds. I think I
De
was.
muscle, pas de.
You were a big boy. I remember.
Ouais, j'étais thick.
You were an intimidating guy to come at the door. I think at the time I had a shaved head, and you guys had given me the nickname Mr. Clean. I think over at we'll mention some of the bars. Some of them were good times. We had Candy Bar, which was here in Montreal. It's still out there. It's still a great place, but it was a little rocky to.
Ouais, dans le temps. Dans
Back in the old days.
Ouais. Ben, des belles soirées là-bas. Justement, beaucoup de gens de différentes origines qui sortaient là, puis c'était vraiment cool parce que quand le party pognait.
Is this where you started working, or we're talking about Candy Bar now? I say let's start at the beginning because
Candy
we're just.
Bar. I don't want to do name dropping, but hey.
It's okay, man.
Mais tu sais, ce qui était le fun là-bas, c'est que quand le party pognait, ben, t'avais des gens d'origine africaine qui étaient là, des étudiants africains qui étaient là, qui faisaient le party. Après ça, t'avais aussi des gens d'origine arabe qui étaient là, qui faisaient le... C'est que ça faisait que c'était les Nations Unies qui faisaient le party ensemble.
But those were good nights.
Ben oui.
I think we would get a little tipsy those nights and just... If you want to see two white guys dance to African music, that's me and Bruno on a Sunday night with
ouais, ben, je me souviens dans le temps, il y avait une tune, je pense que c'était du Afrobeat qui était vraiment populaire, mais ce qui était drôle, c'est que ceux qui étaient d'origine africaine faisaient une danse en ligne dessus.
Yes.
Mais ça ressemblait un peu à ce que dans la culture québécoise, là, nos danses en ligne qu'on faisait comme quoi. Tu sais, non, mais tu sais, c'est ça. Moi, je trouve ça le fun. C'est découvrir le monde, veut pas. Mais il y a d'autres soirs où c'était n'importe quoi.
I think where we started to work at the bar we originally started to work is where we really learned what it's like to be a doorman, where you never knew the night you were gonna get, man. I remember occasionally we had to have des matraques, which are nightsticks, with us. You brass knuckles. Sometimes you needed whatever you had to defend yourself. It would get rowdy, and it's not like we're there and we like the excitement. Yes, it's exciting, but then sometimes as a doorman, when the night gets out of hand, it gets scary, man. You don't know what's coming and from where it's coming.
Ouais. Ce qui est drôle, c'est que un portier dans un bar, plus souvent qu'autrement, il doit représenter l'autorité de l'établissement, du propriétaire de l'établissement. C'est lui qui... C'est le ref de la place. C'est lui qui c'est lui qui prend les décisions, puis les gens doivent respecter ses décisions. Fait que le portier doit manifester de l'autorité, mais sans backup.
Yeah, 'cause
on est tout seul.
We're really not allowed to do much.
Ben,
well, the times have changed.
Oui.
When we started 10, 12 years ago, you had a little bit of authority. As doorman, you were able to smack a motherfucker, and then there was no 19 cell phones around to capture the whole thing. And then the next time the guy came, he would behave. It's like when my mother used to beat the shit out of me for doing something bad. You know, I would never do it again. not to say that violence is the answer, but we had a little bit more freedom.
Oui, ben c'est il y a beaucoup de choses qui ont changé, mais c'est les générations. Quand j'ai commencé, on pouvait avoir du brasse camarade avec quelqu'un sans avoir peur de
L'internet.
De vengeance.
Yes, that's something I forgot about.
Il fut un temps où c'était lesson learned.
But not in my time. When I started, it was like
Ben c'est là que ça commençait à changer, mais un moment donné, c'est avec les générations que ça change. Un moment donné, il venait avec des générations où c'était des vengeances, où tu le foutais dehors à la porte, il t'attaquait physiquement à coups de poing, il fallait que tu te défendes, tu le mettais dehors, tout ça, même si la police était là, tout ça, ben, c'est une génération où, après ça, quand tu sortais après ton corps de travail, ben, il fallait que tu checkes ton dos. Parce qu'il revenait.
It's, I think over the years, we've worked with a lot of older guys too, and they'll tell you the change of working at nights. When you guys come outside and party and drink and you think all is fine and dandy, that everybody has a stigma that the bouncers like to go out and start scraps. We really don't, because we understand that one wrong move in our life is finished. How many friends do we have that have been arrested, have had charges? We'll introduce you to another member of our group here on the podcast who went through some legal trouble for defending himself. He pushed the guy in his defense, and the guy fell and got hurt, and it was the bouncer's fault. Even though it was the guy threw something at him, or racial slurs, or there was something in that line where he didn't even hit him, he pushed him. The guy fell and got hurt, and it was the doorman who paid in the end.
Ben, tu sais, ça, c'est des nouvelles. Encore là, je pense que c'est une nouvelle génération, encore une fois, mais c'est. Peut-être que les gens ont de plus en plus conscience de leurs droits. Des lois, peut-être. Ils ont de plus en plus conscience que des conséquences légales, peut-être. Même si j'ai pas tendance à le croire, mais tout ça, c'est arrivé avec l'avenue du BSP.
When we had to, so here in Quebec we have to get certified to become doorman. Not that everybody is, because I never gave my real name to any owner of a bar. Because if some shit went down and the cops were there, I was gone. I was in my car, I was home. I'm not gonna risk my life for some idiot.
Le Québec, il y a une dizaine d'années, a créé le Bureau de la sécurité privée pour pas professionnaliser, mais
contrôler. You can say it. You can say it.
Encadrer le travail de l'agent de sécurité, parce que le travail de l'agent de sécurité, ultimement, c'est pas facile, c'est pas évident, puis tu veux pas des agents de sécurité qui sont incompétents, parce que c'est encore plus dangereux.
Yes, I agree.
Ils ont instauré des normes, une façon de travailler, ils ont encadré le travail de l'agent de sécurité pour pas professionnaliser, là, mais qui ont voulu redonner les lettres de noblesse. Donner des lettres de noblesse au travail de l'agent de sécurité en s'assurant que tout le monde a une formation minimale puis qu'ils savent un peu dans quelles circonstances ils travaillent. Mais je pense que c'est ça qui a amené justement ce que tu dis, le fait qu'on travaille encadré par des lois puis que si on fait quelque chose de travers, ben ça peut revenir rapidement sur nous. C'est vrai. T'sais, parce qu'avant ça, n'importe qui était gros, costaud, intimidant, fort, pouvait devenir agent de sécurité.
100%.
Mais je pense que le BSP a amené ça. Encore une fois, le BSP, il y en a qui sont d'accord avec ça, il y en a d'autres qui sont contre. Mais ça a été un game changer. Maintenant, l'agent de sécurité moyen, c'est plus un goon. C'est plus un fier à bras.
But occasionally, I believe doing this over the years, you needed the intimidation factor at the door. As soon as you walked in, you see somebody there, imposant, like you would say in French, who people would see and be like, yo, if I fuck around, this guy's gonna smack the shit out of me. I think it has some kind of value, but you also have your clients who come who just are looking for a scrap, and they'll try to fight the biggest dude working there.
Le milieu des bars, c'est propre à lui-même, avec des propres prérequis, là. On peut pas généraliser à partir du monde des bars pour ce qui est de la sécurité privée, mais oui, pour travailler dans ces environnements-là, il y a des prérequis à avoir. J'ai appris un nouveau mot cette semaine, deterrence.
Deterrence.
La dissuasion.
Tell us more.
C'est pour dissuader. Si tu prends un gros agent de sécurité costaud, intimidant, tu le mets à une porte,
Yeah.
c'est dissuasif. Tu veux pas... Tu sais, il va représenter quelque chose, de l'établissement, fait
So it's the image of the bar.
ça, ouais, ça fait que ça reste dans l'arrière-pensée.
So
De se dire que si je fais de la merde en dedans, la
yeah.
dernière chose que je veux, c'est que le gars à la porte rentre pis s'en mêle.
Exactly.
Fait que deterrence. Tu connaissais-tu ce mot-là?
Yeah, the English version, but yeah, I get it.
Je l'ai appris cette semaine.
Hey man,
To apply deterrence.
but you trained a lot of the new generation coming into the field. And what do you see that things that we did in the past, is there anything different coming in the future? Or are these young cats coming in ready, excited that the stigma of the stereotype of a doorman is to be there to scrap?
Ouais.
I'm sure you see these young guys.
Ouais. J'ai commencé à travailler comme portier avec la vieille école. C'était la fin de la vieille école quand j'ai commencé. Fait que j'ai eu un aperçu de c'était quoi être doorman avec la vieille école. Quand la nouvelle école est arrivée, moi, la nouvelle école, la nouvelle façon de faire, c'est quelque chose qui était plus représentatif de moi-même.
Mm-hmm.
Tu sais, on est des diplomates, on n'est pas des... C'est sûr que si les choses arrivent, il faut être capable d'agir, puis il faut savoir s'imposer, mais la diplomatie en premier. Puis ce que j'ai remarqué...
At what point is diplomacy not the answer?
Ouais.
Meaning when we worked together, you were the diplomat and
Ouais.
I was the iron fist.
Mais justement...
I know occasionally I made situations a lot harder than they needed to be.
Ben justement, j'ai eu une carrière dans le domaine des bars. Oui, j'ai eu à me battre, à me défendre. Oui, il s'est passé toutes sortes de choses, mais peut-être 95% de mes interventions, je les ai faites avec la diplomatie. On n'a pas eu à appeler la police, que personne n'a été blessé, que personne n'a eu à quoi que ce soit, garder le... Mais tu sais, pour revenir à ce que tu disais, ben les nouvelles générations veulent travailler comme bouncer avec les idées populaires qui ont été transmises dans la population de la vieille école. Ils sont là pour brasser, mais maintenant, c'est plus ça qu'on demande d'un doorman.
So let's talk about those stereotypes we have, that we like to scrap all the time, we like to drink, we like to pick up anything that is willing to talk to us, and we like to sleep with apparently all the girls out there. I think being a doorman in a relationship was the hardest thing that we have to do.
Ah oui.
You went through it harder than any of us, but just to talk, let's break down let's go one by one. So we're gonna start with
Premier point, on est là pour se battre.
Yeah.
Non, c'est pas
fighting.
vrai.
It's not true.
C'est pas vrai. On n'est pas là pour se battre.
Depending on your doorman, there is the stereotypical bouncer which is there to show off his muscles and scrap.
C'est ça. Il y en a qui vont plus avoir ce tempérament-là. Je dis le tempérament chaud, ou gérer leurs émotions, ça va être un peu plus difficile. Une insulte, ça va leur faire mal.
Why are you looking at me?
Non, mais il y en a pour qui ça va être plus difficile de gérer leurs émotions. Fait que c'est eux souvent qui vont générer des situations où on n'a pas le choix de répondre avec l'emploi de la force.
I think violence has always been in this industry the last resort. Maybe for you, but me, that is a little more emotional in certain aspects, especially when
c'est pas juste toi, là. J'en ai croisé plein. Tu sais, on a toutes des limites. Moi aussi, j'en ai des limites, là. Tu m'as déjà vu.
Tes limites is like, I've seen you get slapped and just look at the guy and be like, I think it's time for you to go home.
Non, mais... tu sais, mais non, on n'est pas là pour ça, puis encore moins aujourd'hui. Il faut penser que quand on travaille comme portier, on travaille pour l'intérêt d'un propriétaire. Puis le propriétaire, lui, ce qu'il veut pas, la dernière chose qu'il veut, c'est d'avoir des conséquences légales.
Ouais.
Il veut pas que ses gars soient des goons.
But That's the stigma
Ouais, mais ça va rester.
Stereotype we have to break.
Parce qu'on est appelé souvent, oui, à faire emploi de la force. C'est la population qui nous donne cette réputation-là. Puis encore une fois, je le dis, quand les gens vont dans un bar, c'est pas pour lire un livre. Là.
He's stuck on that leaf.
Non, mais les gens sont là pour boire, prendre un coup, se décalisser.
But you know,
des gens qui sont là, qui sont en train de se décalisser, sont dans un autre état.
But you know what's funny? I've traveled in a lot of different places in the world, and this mentality of going out to a bar, getting fucked up, and fighting and scrapping is a North America thing. I've been to Europe in bars and clubs in Greece where the doormen are not worried. It's a rare occurrence for a scrap to break. Or I'll give you an example in Dubai, man.
Bah.
There's no fights in bars or clubs. It's the rarest thing in the world.
Ouais. Ben, les conséquences sont peut-être plus drastiques, là.
Yeah, but here we have no laws protecting unless you screw somebody up really bad, you'll get a slap on the wrist. Unless for us doormen, we eat the dick in the end.
Ouais, mais c'est qu'il faut travailler en cohérence avec le code criminel.
Yeah, but
l'article 494 du code criminel qui est l'arrestation sans mandat par quiconque, l'arrestation citoyenne. On doit fonctionner avec ça. Fait que c'est sûr que le code criminel nous donne des outils pour travailler, mais c'est peut-être pas les outils les plus pratiques.
No, not at all. We have to defend ourselves against guns, knives, and rocks and bricks.
Ouais.
I think we've got guns pulled on us. We've got knives swung at us, rocks, bottles. I can name any object in a bar that could be thrown. It's been thrown at us.
Je me souviens une fois, c'était un bat de baseball qu'on m'a lancé dessus.
Yeah. Bruno's been attacked by a baseball bat, for the love of God.
C'était n'importe quoi, mais on n'est pas, oui, t'as raison en disant, je pense qu'on n'est pas assez outillé ou c'est peut-être pas assez clair pour tout le monde ce qu'on peut faire ou pas faire. Mais on peut se défendre. Mais c'est juste qu'après ça, les conséquences, c'est nous. On assume ça tout seul. Comme je disais, tu sais, la police, elle a une fraternité policière, il y a un syndicat en arrière de ça, les autres gens aussi sont backés, tu sais, quand on est portier, on est backé par personne. Fait que si on fait face à une plainte, une poursuite,
we're screwed.
C'est notre argent, c'est notre réputation sur la ligne.
And we don't get backed by no bar owner is ever gonna back. It's rare. It's rare. I think in the years that I worked, we had one bar owner who took care of us, who had our back for real. Out of all these, we're not gonna name the person or the club, but yeah, once. After that was
all by yourself,
all on your own. So now let's hop to the second one. What was the second one? We're there to meet all kinds of girls. Guys, that's the one we really have to hop into. We are not there to pick up, meet, have sex with anybody.
No.
We come there after having a full day of doing something. Let's break it. Let's say on a Friday night. So we have real jobs. This isn't our main income, right?
Exactly.
So we wake up at 7 a.m. like everybody else, go to our work, whatever it is, and then we do this for extra income. Because sometimes it's really good money. I'm not gonna lie.
Oui.
So by you guys thinking that we're there to pick up girls, that is the funniest thing. All we want to do is get in, make sure no one dies, and go
get
home.
Out. Yeah, the fastest possible. Le plus vite possible.
That's it. Ouais. When girls talk to us, I'm the most sarcastic asshole in the world. I don't care. Bruno's more the politician.
Ouais, mais non, moi aussi, j'ai pas de tolérance à ça. Surtout, tu sais, je le rappelle, quand les gens sortent dans un bar, là...
c'est pas pour lire un livre. Toi,
non!
Fucking livre.
Mais tu sais, c'est que ça fait qu'on est entouré par de gens complètement sous ou high. Fait que ça fait que les gens, quand ils viennent nous parler, ils sont dégueulasses.
Ouais.
Que la fille soit cute...
Ou non.
On s'en sac.
C'est no fun.
C'est pas le fun, ils sont trash, ils disent n'importe quoi. Puis ce qu'ils nous disent, c'est des choses qu'on a entendues 1500 fois.
But it's the funniest thing, man. When they try to talk... You're the hardest guy ever seen.
Hey, toi, tu sais que t'as de l'air méchant, mais en dedans, t'es comme un gros nounours. Ah, souris, pourquoi t'es sérieux?
And the worst part is, there's nothing you can do. You just have to sit there and listen to it. So, that's the kind of women that come talk to the doorman. Unless you're some kind of pretty boy and your mission again. We have one guy that we're gonna bring to this podcast. Our beautiful friend Randy, that we're gonna name drop. I don't give a shit what he thinks.
That legend, probably people already know him.
Yeah, if you're in the Montreal scene, you probably know Randy, but this guy he's a beautiful man. I'm not gonna lie. No homo here, but
ce gars-là, il est tellement charismatique que même les gars veulent être son ami.
That's it.
Que les clients veulent donc être son ami. Tellement que c'est un bel homme charismatique, drôle, le fun. Vraiment un bon gars.
But that's it. You have a guy like that who just can't help himself. Which, you know, it's understandable. But 99% of us, we don't give a shit. We just want to get in, do our job.
Je veux pas lui donner une réputation, mais c'est vrai que pour lui, peut-être, c'était plus facile.
Ouais, mais quand même, il aidait pas la situation, lui. We're gonna let him defend himself when it's time. We're not gonna poke the dragon here, because
no,
it's gonna go down wrong. You know his attitude. But anyways, when he's on the show, he'll be able to explain his situation. We'll give him the light to explain his situation and his experiences.
Même les joueurs des Canadiens voulaient être son ami.
Mais c'est Randy, man.
C'est...
That's all you need to know.
Je voulais... lui, il y a quelque chose à faire avec lui, mais en tout cas.
And the third one is we like to take the girls home to sleep with them. Guys, I'm pretty sure you all have girlfriends who have gotten really, really drunk. Do you want to have sex with her at the end of the night? I want you to close your eyes and picture that scenario. What kind of girl do you think we're gonna take home and sleep with? You want her in the car bouncing around me? Yeah, I think I gotta throw up. Is that what you want at home? That's what we think. When we're done, we want you all out of there at the quickest humanly possible, and we want to go home. Actually, no, we want to go to McDonald's, get a burger, and then we go home.
Du apple pomme.
And that's it. I don't know where the stigma, especially having a relationship as a doorman. I think I've broken up hundreds of times, not hundreds, but like...
C'est difficile. Faut avoir une bonne relation de confiance. Puis c'est quelque chose que personne peut comprendre tant que la personne l'a pas vécu. Quand j'ai travaillé dans un bar, j'étais tout le temps en couple. J'ai toujours eu une blonde.
Ouais, mais c'était toujours...
c'était tout le temps compliqué. Puis des fois, ils voulaient venir me voir travailler quand je voulais pas. Parce que là, je disais allô à des clients. Puis là, c'est qui ça? C'est difficile pour la confiance. T'sais. Puis on peut pas se le cacher non plus. Les tentations sont là pareil.
Yes, mom. You know I'm one to say it.
Mais
you know I've screwed up. I'm not gonna lie. These stigma, these stereotypes are there, but it's happened to all of us.
Tu sais, tout dépendamment où tu travailles, ben tu vas rencontrer des gens connus. Tu sais, on a déjà rencontré GSP.
Yes.
Gianta, le joueur des Canadiens. Il y avait des joueurs de l'Impact qui sortaient là. On jasait avec eux.
We've met a lot of famous people.
Ouais, fait qu'on est...
We had the event where Sugar Sammy showed up and we wouldn't leave him alone and we had to escort him in a taxi. We've had our share of stories.
Mais on est en contact avec ces gens-là. Après ça, on a accès à tout. Tu veux de l'alcool, t'en as. Tu veux de la drogue, t'en as. Tu veux ci, tu veux ça, t'en as. T'as tout. Tout à la portée de la main.
Ouais.
Parce que tu finis par connaître des gens qui connaissent des... Tu finis par te créer un réseau malgré toi. Après ça, ben les filles, c'est sûr. C'est sûr, tu travailles dans un bar qui a 500 personnes, tu as 200 filles qui sortent là, ben c'est sûr qu'il va toujours en avoir une ou deux, ou si t'es Randy, peut-être 14, qui vont te trouver cute, qui vont venir te jaser ça. So, on est exposé à ça, fait que c'est sûr que les tentations sont là.
Now you're talking about temptation. Honest question. Have you dated a girl you met at work?
Once.
How did that end up?
Bad.
I think I dated one girl that I met at work, that blonde that one time, and that was a horror story. I think by the end of that, I think I dated her for like 3 weeks, and that story was she came in. She was pretty. I'm not gonna lie. She lived far too, so going to see her was a disaster, but. I think when she came to see me, a lot of the time she wanted attention, which I couldn't give. And again, when she saw me talk to other people or other girls, it would turn into an issue.
Ouais.
So then she tried to make me jealous at work. I'm the least jealous person on the planet. I don't care if she's dancing with another guy, as long as they're not making out or anything. And then what do I see at the end of in the back of the bar? She's making out with a guy just to make me jealous. Like that's gonna work. All that got her was I had to throw out my own girlfriend from the bar I worked at. And that was the last time I saw her.
Ouais.
So dating people you meet, another thing, when we meet girls and we end up dating them, it ends up to a horror story.
Ouais.
Your story is fucked up too, though.
Ouais. Ouais, c'était ça, là. C'était à peu près la même chose que toi, là. Elle revenait, elle était jalouse, puis elle disait de la merde à mon sujet, puis ça n'a pas duré longtemps. Turns out, dans sa tête, c'était moi le trou de cul dans l'histoire. Alors qu'elle-même était revenue frencher d'autres gars. Bref, c'est en arracher les cheveux de la tête. Mais tu sais...
But the worst part is when you're having those relationship fights at work, while you're trying to work.
Oh, fuck.
And they're... Guys, I'm never going to forget it. One night, Bruno, it was New Year's Eve.
Ouais.
The bar was out of control. We're two guys and there's like
Ouais.
300 people in this bar.
Ouais, c'était trop.
And this is a bar of a certain age group and a certain type of clientele that likes to cause problems
Ouais.
for no reason. The bar is out of control. I'm by myself and this guy's having the fight of the century with his girlfriend outside.
Ouais, elle me faisait des crises de jalousie sur mon lieu de travail. Puis c'est ça c'est une autre affaire. Les gens ne réalisent pas. On surveille un party. On n'est pas là pour faire le party. On travaille.
I'm not gonna jump into that one, bro, because you were. So I always worked inside. You were mainly at the door.
Ouais.
But so we worked at a few different places. But when we worked at Candy Bar, I was at home, man. I always had a good time. It's not that the owner, we're not gonna mention his name, would give me a couple of Jack Daniels to calm me down, so I don't slap a motherfucker. But I really enjoyed working there, man. I think I had some amazing nights. I was also going through a breakup at the time,
Right.
so I think being a bouncer during that era kind of helped me get over the
Breakup.
heartbreak and kind of move on and the connections I made and the people I met. But I partied a lot, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. That you can guarantee yourself. I'm a social butterfly, so give me some booze and good music, and if there's a fight, I'll jump in. I was never one to be diplomatic, so I'll let you guys deal with the shit, and then when I saw it wasn't working, then I'd hop in. But I think most of the time I was like maybe 36% drunk.
Ça l'aide pour...
It makes the nights go by
ouais,
faster.
C'est ça l'aide à mieux communiquer avec les gens sous aussi.
Yeah, because you're with them.
Ben, c'est ça.
Listen, bro, I work here. You know, so you gotta be good.
Ok, je comprends, gros. Ok, j'avais pas vu ça de même.
What's your fondest memory of being a bouncer? The funniest story you can tell us, Bruno. Out of all the years, you gotta have your funniest memory.
Oh, I have a lot of them.
But like one that will never leave you, and you'll probably tell your children in bed as a bedtime story. There once was a doorman.
Actually, two, and you were there.
Which night?
One night
break the scenario down.
C'était
En
le...
français, s'il vous plaît.
Alors du coup, c'était le nouvel an.
Oh my god, yeah, tell the people what happened.
C'était-tu le nouvel an, celle-là? Je me souviens
Oui.
Puis, à ce moment-là,
Je parle de la fille dans la toilette?
Ouais,
c'était nouvelle.
Ouais, j'étais nouvelle.
C'était après 2h du matin, là. Elle était finie.
C'était le nouvel an, puis on avait un beau costume pour le nouvel an. Puis...
Ouais, c'était soirée Moulin Rouge.
Ouais, c'est ça. Hein?
Soirée Moulin Rouge.
Puis j'étais à l'intérieur. Puis là, tout à coup, une fille en panique était venue me voir parce que là, son ami, elle m'avait juré que son ami avait pas beaucoup bu. Il était 2h15 du matin.
You know she was drinking when the clock struck
Puis
midnight.
que là, c'est clair que quelqu'un avait mis quelque chose dans son verre, tout ça. Puis là, elle était dans les toilettes, puis elle allait pas bien. Fait que j'ai été dans les toilettes des filles. Quand j'ai ouvert la porte, la damsel qui était là, on va le dire, quand même assez corpulente. On va le dire, quand même...
Bruno's throwing out the big educated words.
assez corpulente. Puis c'est pas du fat shaming que je fais, là. C'est
No. We're not fat shaming, but she was a heavy girl.
Yes.
Bruno was a big boy at the time, and she was a little bit bigger than Bruno.
Puis là, l'affaire... Quand je suis rentré dans la salle de bain, la damsel qui était là m'a vu et tout à coup, elle avait fait à semblant de perdre connaissance. Par terre. Parce que probablement qu'elle était trop saoule, trop paresseuse pour avoir traversé la salle pour sortir. Puis le beau costume qu'on avait, ben que j'avais, moi, la ceinture me faisait pas. Fait que je pouvais pas mettre de ceinture.
It's true.
Fait que là, j'ai essayé de réveiller la fille. Réveille, lève-toi. Nanana. La fille, bon, je suis convaincu encore à ce jour qu'elle faisait semblant d'être inconscient. Fait que j'ai comme pas eu le choix de la porter. Donc je l'ai pris dans mes bras et j'ai traversé la salle avec elle dans mes bras. Puis elle était lourde, là.
Just to explain that dead weight is double.
Ouais.
It's... Any woman out there is like, my boyfriend doesn't pick me up. It's because dead weight is double. So if you weigh 120, it's 240.
Ouais. Puis j'ai été obligé de la prendre dans mes bras et traverser la salle avec elle. Dans le milieu de la salle, mes bras commençaient à être morts, mais là, l'orgueil rentrait. Fait que là, je pouvais pas faire comme si...
So, from my eyes seeing this, is Bruno... So, just to give you an idea what the club looked like, it was one narrow hall with seats on each side. So, it's like...
Ouais.
Just think of the letter I... And that's what it was, right?
Right,
just one straightaway, and not a big place, but you had chairs from each side.
Ouais.
And now the bar is packed. Bruno's holding this heavy looking girl, and he's trying to run to the door to get her outside to get some fresh air. At this point in time, his pants are falling.
Ouais.
So Bruno's trying to make it to the door.
En marchant comme un cowboy.
Yeah, à ce point-là, at that point, the pants had reached the knees, right? So his boxers are flying everywhere. He's walking like he just took a shit and he had no more toilet paper.
Puis là, j'arrive face à Baby Weight.
Yeah.
Je suis comme, ok, bro, prends-la.
Bro, I did the gentleman thing. I opened the door for you. What more could you ask for?
No, motherfucker, I won't take that! Fait que là, j'ai été écœuré, j'ai été essoufflé, j'ai été brûlé. Fait que j'ai décidé tout simplement de laisser la fille par terre, dans l'entrée, où il y avait une grosse flaque d'eau à cause que la neige avait fondu. Et là, tout à coup, cette jeune fille-là
s'est
réveillée magiquement. Et s'est levée et est partie avec grâce et élégance à l'extérieur.
So just to recap, this girl had a huge crush on Bruno, and she wanted... She wanted that Cinderella story where she gets carried out outside the bar. While Bruno's pants are falling, and outside she magically woke up. As soon as that fresh air hit her, I'm pretty sure she was faking it the whole time.
Ah ouais, non, c'est sûr qu'elle faisait semblant, mais bon. Ouais, l'autre fois, à peu près la même chose. Je sais pas si tu t'en souviens, c'était... c'était un party thématique, je pense que c'était autour de l'Halloween. Puis t'étais venu comme client cette soirée-là, tu t'en souviens?
Si j'étais comme client, non. If I showed up as a client, bro, at that time,
il y avait une thématique, puis il fallait que je sois habillé comme une... je pense que c'était thématique Star Wars, puis il fallait que je sois habillé...
Non, tu parles de l'Halloween, we're not gonna mention the place again, but yes, you were dressed as a character from Star Wars.
Ouais, les petites bébites dans le désert.
Yes.
Fait que j'avais un costume intégral, puis c'était épais, c'était chaud, fait qu'en dessous, j'avais pas le choix d'être en sous-vêtements.
Yeah, I remember.
Puis... Mais c'était quand même un beau costume, quand même bien fait, mais j'étais en sous-vêtements en dessous. Puis, turns out, cette soirée-là, mes sous-vêtements, c'était pas des boxers, c'était des caleçons rouges, parce que j'avais pas fait mon lavage, puis c'était juste ça qui me restait.
So, caleçon is leggings, right?
Des petits caleçons de... It's not boxers, it's the other thing.
Briefs.
No, you know the...
Oh, tidy
Speedo,
whities.
Yeah,
whities.
Speedo style.
Yeah, they're called tidy whities.
Et j'étais à l'entrée à ce moment-là, mais à l'intérieur, puis bon, grosse intervention majeure, là, c'était 5 gars contre 5 gars, je me souviens plus trop.
It was a brawl outside.
Ouais.
Yeah, I remember that, I was hammered.
Puis en maîtrisant quelqu'un pour l'expulser, ben dans la mêlée, il y a quelqu'un qui avait pesé, marché sur ma robe. C'était comme une robe que j'avais.
Well, yeah, but it'd be interesting for people to see the costume. It was that thing was massive, and you had the bottom of the costume at your feet, so
Ouais.
anybody could step on it and would just rip out. I don't understand why they give you to wear that in a club, but
Donc,
beats me.
essentiellement, dans la mêlée, quelqu'un a appuyé, marché sur ma robe, ça l'a déchiré, fait que j'avais le top, la petite bonhomme du désert, en bobette rouge, dehors, en train de me battre.
I remember that.
Il faisait 5 degrés, je pense.
Yeah, I remember that. That was
Ouais.
a hell of a night, man.
Ah ouais, j'étais fâché après, j'étais insulté.
I think that was the night where I had to jump in as a drunk
Ouais.
bystander.
Ouais. C'était quelque chose d'assez majeur, mais... Des histoires de même, j'en ai mille et une. Faut juste que je m'en souvienne.
I think my funniest story again. I think all the funny ones happened with you was the ninjas.
Oui!
That one's one for the books.
Ouais,
man.
ça c'est assez...
What
ouais.
is it like four? There was 4 kids. Not just to give you an idea what they looked. They were about maybe 5'6", 5'7".
Ouais. C'était...
Not the biggest guys.
Non, c'était 6-7 jeunes de 18-19 ans qui travaillaient dans une autre place populaire. Un autre bar populaire.
I don't remember their story. I just remember that they had.
Je m'en souviens. Fait qu'eux, parce qu'ils travaillaient dans un bar populaire, dans leur tête, c'était des petits Joe Cool. Je m'en souviens.
Yeah, they thought they were tough shit.
Ouais,
They could do whatever they want in the club. But I didn't know they worked anywhere. I think you and the owner knew, but no one tells me anything, obviously.
because I know how to talk to people.
Yeah, I don't talk to nobody. But they were in the back and they were getting too fucked up and they were jumping up and down the booth. And I went and I told
What?
one of them, can you just sit down and have a good time? And I think he told me something that pissed me off and I was like, because Sundays I was usually in a good mood. So I was like,
What?
I'll let it go.
Ouais.
And then he kept doing it and then the other ones kept doing it. And then I grabbed one from the arm and I told him, yo, last time
Calme-toi, ouais.
or it's you go home.
Mais c'est ça, après, c'est qu'après, il a pogné les fesses de la serveuse. C'est
Yes.
ça, c'est là que ça a commencé.
She
T'es
served
avais
him.
C'est ça, t'es avais déjà avertis parce qu'il était con.
Yes.
Puis là, après ça, il avait pris le...
What was her name? Fuck. Anyways, I don't remember the girl's name, but she had just turned 18. It was like her first job in the bar industry. You know who I'm talking about, right? And the guy grabbed her ass, so she came running to me. She's like, "Oh, that guy, he grabbed my ass." So as he's walking back to the booth, I grab his arm and I'm like, "That's it, you're going out." So as I'm trying to get him out, the other 2 literally jumped in the air. It was like something out of the fucking Matrix, man.
Ouais.
I get punched in the head, but
Kung Fu style
That's
Jackie
it.
Chan, là.
so I grabbed 2 of them
Ouais.
in a bear hug, and I'm walking to the other to the outside of the door, while the other one is punching me in the head. But then remember we had the old barman that was working there. Anyways, we had a guy who knew us, but in the heat of the moment, I didn't know who he was. So he's trying to help me while I'm thinking he's trying to fight me too. So I grab him in a bear hug and I'm using the walls and the doors to knock everybody's head out. As we get outside, these kids go full karate mode, man. Remember, they lose their shit and they start punching the walls and screaming and yelling and you're outside witnessing this whole thing happen.
Quand je suis rentré, t'étais là. Fait que j'avais pris les 2 gars que t'avais. Je les avais crissés dehors. Puis il y en a un, une fois dehors, j'y avais dit des calices, va-t'en.
Yeah.
Et ce jeune-là était tellement primé, fâché, voulait tellement montrer qu'il était tough qu'il avait commencé à frapper le mur de briques. Comme si il était tough.
But he's hurting himself at the end of the day.
Il s'était brisé la main.
Yes.
Après, pas longtemps après, il fait « Ah, j'ai mal à la main! » J'étais comme « Bro, tu viens de frapper un mur de briques. »
Mais qu'est-ce que tu fais?
C'est quoi? Tu penses quoi? Tu sais que t'es... Oh, ouais.
So, let's get to the scariest moment.
We go there?
Yeah,
We
but
go there?
we go there, but we don't say where, when, and how. But like, we don't say the where, but we say the what happened. I think we were together, no? I think our scariest moment is together, no?
Ouais, où est-ce qu'il s'est passé 6 choses dans une nuit, là?
Yes, in the finale at the end of the night
Ok, non, tu
With-
parles de celle-là.
with the gun.
Oui.
That was
Ben
the
non,
same
mais
night.
je pensais que tu voulais parler de l'autre avec les guns.
You know it's a problem when there's too many guns in
Ouais.
the story.
Non, mais celle-là, ouais, là, les Africains qui faisaient le party qui étaient chill.
Ouais.
Puis ils étaient comme 12, 20, je sais pas combien
Ouais,
qu'ils étaient. Puis là,
ouais.
ils sont sortis.
Puis l'autre a sorti l'arme devant nous, puis on juste regardait, là.
Ok, ok.
Is it that one or the other one?
No, no, I want to talk about that one, not the other one yet. Maybe later, the other one, but
Maybe we'll say that on a different time, but
Ouais, mais... Oh oui, c'était...
that one you
c'était
have
une
to say
gang.
in English. That one you have to say in English, because
Okay.
that's pretty scary for the both of us.
This gang was a group of African guy, super chill. We always had fun with them. You particularly, because you were in the back.
Yeah, always in the back.
So you were chilling with them. And at the end of the night, maybe 3:15, 3:20,
Mm-hmm.
all the group went out. Everything was swell. It was a good night. It was fun that night. And so that group was just beside the bar, chilling, smoking, yapping about stuff. I don't know. And suddenly, out of nowhere, they start to PI one guy of the group.
PI means a bunch of guys were jumping on one of them. and
Yeah,
beating him up.
they put him on the ground. Actually, the biggest guy in the group took him, and just slammed it on the ground. And
Yeah.
once he was on the ground, like maybe 6 or 7 of them were stomping on him, like.
And
And
this guy was a little dude, man.
Yeah, he was a
small guy.
And that guy was a friend of the group. And apparently there were shenanigans about money and stuff like that. And that guy was acting all cool and like tough. Even if that guy was owing like $2,000 or the other one. And
Yeah.
that was starts, you know, the...
It was they got into a fight over money.
Yeah.
Basically, who owed what at the end of the night.
C'est ça.
So now a bunch
Yeah.
of friends got into a fight and they all beat up on one guy.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
Yeah. And he was all fucked up. And he leaves.
It ended up getting worse outside, no?
It was outside. It happened outside. And
outside of the club.
And I think I called you to come with me at the door to see
Yes.
what's going on. And we were with some other bouncers that night. They went
From another
It
club.
was from another club. They were chilling there. And so the group was staying there. And the guy who had the beat up left, walked the street.
Yeah.
And his car was like far. But we could see the car and the dude.
Yeah.
And he was like looking for something in his car. He put out his t-shirt, obviously
It
the
was all
classic,
bloody.
and he was walking toward us, and the group of guy was near us too.
Yeah.
And I was looking the guy, and he had something in his hand, right? And I was like, "Oh, it's his t-shirt,"
No,
Something?
it was black and it was big.
and you were like,
That's a gun, bro.
That's a gun." And I was like, "Nah, it's not a gun, it's a t-shirt." And they're
No.
like, "No, it's a gun." And the two other friends, the two other guy was flying, used to be bouncers, and
Yeah,
the
and
place
they
was
told
like,
us-
"Oh," he was like, "Oh, okay, guys, I think we'll leave because that's definitely a gun.
Yeah.
Like, be safe and good night." And they left, and the group of guy scatter after that. You know, the group of
Yeah, and the guy came back to shoot because he thought you beat him up. You remember? And he thought you were the one who attacked him. And he came back to shoot either me or you because he didn't remember who the
Oui.
fuck beat him. And if it wasn't for the guy across the street who
it
started
was his girlfriend.
who started screaming at him.
Yeah.
And I remember when I told you that, I'm like, don't move. The gun was bigger than the guy. I'm like, if this guy shoots, we're safer in front of the gun.
Well, and yeah, man.
And
And after that, the funny part. So, I remember after that we stayed in the place like just to be sure that he left, you know.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, okay, I'll go grab some cigars because back then I used to smoke a lot of cigars. And I was walking toward the dépanneur that was near, and I saw a cop we know, that big guy.
Yeah.
And he was talking to a young guy who was like sitting on the like somewhere on the ground like that.
Freaking out.
You're freaking out, the head in his hand and crying of, "Oh my god, I saw a gun! I saw a fucking gun!" And this and that, and I was like, "Oh, do I interfere or
Interfere?
yeah, and I was like, no, I want my cigars. So I bought my cigars, came back, and the cop was still there with that young guy, and I told him, oh, it's about the gun, right? And he was like, yeah, you know something? I was like, yeah, I know a little about that situation. And by that guy, super effeminate, okay, stopped crying and was like, all of a sudden, the tough guy from the Bronx.
Because he saw you there, like, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. And he was like, oh man, yeah, it's abnormal in more way. Oh, in that place, it's not normal to see a guy with a gun, but I'm not scared. I lived in the Queens in New York. I'm not scared. No.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, though.
Yeah, and I was like, what? And the cops was looking at me and I was like, oh my God, like, you know, nodding his head like, oh. And after that guy was like, so, okay, it's almost 5. I'm gonna leave you, but you call me back. And the cop was like, yeah, sure, we'll call you back. Tell me when you're free.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh, like, okay, tomorrow night I have a date with that pretty girl, Asian girl, pretty girl. And I was like,
who gives a shit, man? We almost just got shot.
a girl, okay. And he was like, so I was thinking you could call me like during my date so I could talk about that in front of her and be like,
tabarnak.
Oh, and I was like, oh my fucking God.
But they caught him further down though. I remember.
What?
And then the cop was like, if I were you guys, I would quit. And we were like, why? Because he's like, this guy's for sure coming back.
What? But he got arrested and he was in jail for that.
I think a week or two after that, that's when I split from there. It was just like, I think that's when I decided that bouncing I was done.
Why?
But then I ended up working at another place again,
and this is another story.
Yeah, that's another time. Guys, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and Bruins and I will come back at you with more stories of the night, and we'll have more guest appearances by other acolytes of ours.
Oh oui, brother in arms,
brothers in arms.
Ouais.
And we'll keep this going. Thank you, and a final message from our wise Bruno.
Messieurs, dames, je vous souhaite une excellente fin de journée, de soirée ou de nuit.
Have a good one, everybody.